Danielle.
Prince, yeah, go ahead, Prince. We're now calling this meeting to order for Elite Toastmasters on Saturday, June 11th. And as we call this meeting to order, as your presiding officer, the one thing I want to share with you was, let's see, the theme that Franklin came up with. And the theme for today is, drop it over on the other side here. The theme for today is vacation or bust. And we're going to have a thought of the day coming from Kathy. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce the roles that are going to help to make this meeting a great meeting. The first person is going to be our lexicologist. And she's no stranger to the stage either. She's done quite a few speeches and evaluations. And she also has a nice little sport. I think she calls it fly ball.
Oh, Martha.
Let's all welcome to the stage our lexicologist, Gwen.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. I get to help you, help me, help us today by serving as your lexicologist. I will be helping you by constructively evaluating your word usage during table topics, speeches, and evaluations. I will be noting when fillers and connectors are used. These are our ands, so's, wells, buts, and you knows. I will also be noting any double clutches, those starting and stopping during sentences, those long pauses when we all use those dreaded filler words that aren't even a part of our speech, but they come out anyway. These are words such as or, and You will be helping me, as in this role, I will be working on my listening skills as I tune in with great anticipation to every sentence spoken during our meeting today. In the end, we will have helped each other in our sharing, our learning, and our growing together. And the word of the day is schmooze, to chat in a friendly and persuasive manner, especially as to gain favor, business, or connection. So used in a sentence, the salesperson schmoozed Prince and Martha into buying an upgraded package on their new car. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Boy, does that sound like it's real. Thank you for the word of the day, Madam Lexicologist. The next person that's going to help us have a great meeting today is going to be our timer and ballot counter. That's Mary Ann Franco. And of course, she has been with us for about 2 years and she's been in multiple roles and she loves Toastmasters. Mary Ann, tell us what you're going to be doing as the timer today.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. I do love being a timer. So as a timer, I will time all of the speeches, the table topics, speakers, and the evaluations. And I will alert each speaker of all of the important milestones they have left during their speech. So for example, table topics, you have 2 minutes at the most to make your speech. At 1 minute, you will see my Zoom background change to green. At 1 minute 30, yellow. And at 2 minutes, red. And you have 30 seconds to wrap up when you see red. Same for the speeches. So today we have 2 speeches that are 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes green, 6 minutes yellow, 7 minutes red. And again, 30 seconds to wrap up. Same for the evaluations. Evaluations at 2 minutes, the green card, the green Zoom background, 2.5 minutes yellow, and 3 minutes red. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam Timer. That was a great explanation of your role as a timer. And be listening, guys, and also be looking at the timer. If you have trouble with the timer and not seeing the timer, you can do that device called pin the timer. That means when you are speaking, the timer is going to appear right next to you, and it will help you with your speech, the timing, and all of those great things. The next area that's going to help me with a great meeting is going to be our general evaluator. And again, he's been in Toastmasters since 2009. He comes to us with a great deal of experience. He's done many things in our current district, as well as getting his feet wet in District 103. He also facilitated, and I believe it was a session in District 103 this past week, and he did a great job. Let's all welcome as our general evaluator, Prince G. Leffridge II.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My role is very simple. I give an overall review of the meeting, how well we did, areas of improvement, and things we can possibly do to improve where our meetings are. And usually these reports are generally somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes, just like any other evaluation. However, they are going to be all encompassing. So everybody be on your P's and Q's. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Prince, thank you for that great explanation. That was wonderful. The last person I would like to introduce before we get to the table topics master is going to be our thought for the day. She comes back to our club, Elite, from a place that we know that was hot as Arizona. Kathy Barnes is one of the great leaders who has always been there for us as a group. Today, she's going to give us a thought that we can remember and live by. Kathy Barnes.
Good evening, everyone. Thought for today: every person needs to take one day away, a day in which one consciously separates the past from the future, jobs, family, employers, and friends, and can exist in one day without any one of us. And it's our egos permit us to confess they could exist eternally in our absence. Each person deserves a day in which no problems and are confronted with no situations, searches, for each of us needs to withdraw from the care which will not withdraw from us. It's by Maya Angelou. When take nothing for my journey now.
Excellent, excellent. Now, in all fairness to Maya, we needed that today because we all need to take a day where we have no worries, we have no cares, and just really take care of ourselves. Thank you for that beautiful thought, Kathy. In this particular area, this person will make sure that you can think on your feet and also use the word of the day. And if you can remember that, you're a person who's going to be doing that for today for Table Topics is Ruthie Barnes. Ruthie has been in Toastmasters for so many years that she has always supported the Elite Toastmasters or any Toastmasters club that she's been a member of. She moves around the country, you guys. She moved from Arizona. She's had a little stay in, I believe, Ohio right now. And we're just standing in awe over the fact that she can still be a part of this club. She brings so much to the table. Now let's go ahead and hear those wonderful table topics that she's going to present to us today. She's our table topic master, Ruthie Barnes. Give her a round, baby. Give her a round. Woo-hoo.
Thank you, Madam VP. As a table topic master, it is my job to help you be able to speak extemporaneously. It's to give you that opportunity when it arises and you have that quick elevator speech and you're trying to impress your boss. So these little things help you when you're out and about in the world. So today, for our table topics, we're going to be using the word of the day, smooth, and again, the definition from the lexicologist is to chat in a friendly and persuasive manner, especially as to gain favor, business, or connection. So because this is a vacation theme, vacation or bus, I decided to pair my questions around that topic. So for our first person, I'm going to start with Gwen. Gwen, The first question is, what's one place that everyone loves that you secretly find overrated, and how come? Remember to use the word of the day, smooth.
Oh, thank you, Table Topics Master. The place where I find is so overrated that everybody loves to go has to be Paris, France. Why? Let me tell you why I feel that way. I feel that way because when I graduated high school, I joined the military and I was shipped off to the Pacific area. I got to go to Korea, Japan, the Philippines, Guam, Hawaii, all those beautiful tropical islands, when everybody else was going to Europe and Germany and said, oh, you got to go to Paris, you got to do this. In fact, there were people who would sell, I don't know if anybody here has ever been approached, vacations that would go to Paris. They would wine you and dine you and schmooze you into buying their packages just to go to Paris, France. I believe that that's overrated. So don't fall into that schmooze talk or those schmoozy sales gimmicks that get you to places and get you to do things that you just probably don't want to do and will regret in the long run. So for me personally, that's my spot, Madam Table Topics Master. Paris, France. Never been there, have no desire to go. I would highly recommend. I'll try to schmooze you into going to the Pacific Northwest and all those tropical islands. Take it away.
Thank you, Gwen. Okay, for our second question, I'm going to go to Prince. Prince, would you rather have a home on the beach or in the mountains, and why? Remember to use the word of the day, smooth.
Thank you very much, Madam Topic Master. Having been to both tropics and mountains alike, I've been to Hawaii, I've been to the Caribbean, but I've also been to Switzerland. Now, let's go back to that question. The kind of person I am, where I do crave my solitary moments where I don't have to schmooze with people a lot of times. Therefore, I would say the mountains, especially if you're in Switzerland, because you see all of those picturesque postcard scenes like in Lucerne or Bern. Very beautiful. But the closest thing we have here for that would be Telluride, Colorado, or Vail. Those are very beautiful areas too. In fact, I had to go to Telluride for work and loved every second of it. In fact, it was loved so much that Martha was very upset that she could not go with me. Sorry, honey, I didn't know the rules for work. And there were times that I would call Martha from my hotel room in Telluride. She would say, okay, let's take a picture of the bathroom. Let's take a picture of this. Let's take a picture of that. That would make her even more angry, especially considering I had a fireplace in my room. So I enjoy going to those places because it gives you a chance to really appreciate nature, appreciate clean air. Let's face it, Chicago's not known for that, and neither is Phoenix. But all in all, I would say going to the mountains gives you an opportunity to recharge and reinvigorate yourself, because you get to inhale some air that is not contaminated by diesel. Back to you, Madam Topic Master.
Thank you, Prince. That was great. Okay, for our question number 3, this one's going to go to Miss Martha. If you jumped in a pool full of something, what would it be? Remember to use the word of the day, smooth.
Thank you so much, Madam Table Topic Master. Are you kidding me? The only thing that comes to my mind right now, it is not Jell-O, but it is money. I think they make $1,000 bill somewhere, but if not, I'll take hundreds. So many that I can't count. I'll call you guys up to let you pick out your package of money. And you know what? We'll just have a little nice vacation, and nobody will be able to smooth me over and tell me that they don't want that money because it's not right. That's what I would do. I would jump in that pool. I would have my body covered with it. I would even get me a little glue stick and stick some on my body so that when I got out, I would have even more money to take with me on a nice vacation. Now, this is interesting that you would ask me that type of a question. You would probably think you should probably be somewhere trying to get a nice bed so that your back doesn't hurt. Not. I have all the money that I need and I can get that bed. How about that? Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master. Good question.
Thanks, Ms. Martha. Okay, for our next question, this is going to go to Kathy. If the world froze for an afternoon and only you could move around and no one could see you or remember what you did, what would you do? Remember to use the word of the day, smooth.
I would try to find a place that would be like an igloo, like it was in Alaska. So I would try to stay warm and just be comfortable in my little own world,
Can
my own space.
you get closer to your mic, Kathy? We're having a hard time hearing you.
Can you hear me? The place I would
Yes,
think
we can
of
hear you
is
now.
like Alaska. I'll be in an igloo. Because that's what they talk about when you go to Alaska. People live in igloos. So I'll find me a cozy, nice place, be by a warm fire. And so no one be able to smooth and talk me out of getting out of my igloo.
Still having problems hearing you, Kathy. So I'll tell you what.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you a little bit now, but it keeps going in and out.
Can you
So
hear me?
I'm not sure. We can hear you.
Okay, you want me to say it again? Can you hear me?
I can, but you're having problems with your speaker. It could be where you're located. So I'm going to go to the next question. All right. Thank you, Kathy, for trying to participate on that one. So our next question, our last question, will go to Mary Ann. Have you ever had a crush on an animated character, and who was it? Remember to use the word of the day, smooth.
Thank you for that question, Madam Table Topics Master. I don't know if I've had a crush on an animated character. I think the closest thing that came to that was when I was about 18 or 19 years old when I saw Beauty and the Beast. And, you know, the end of the movie, the Beast turns into a man, turns back into a prince. And so the way they animated that prince was really interesting. And my friends thought, oh, wow. Oh, if he was the live person, okay, that would be interesting. So I think that is probably the only time I have ever had a crush on an animated character, a slight crush. I don't know if it's considered a crush, but we thought he was drawn very interestingly, and we sort of wondered who they used as the model, if they do, because Disney tends to use real life people as models. And that's about it. That's the only crush I think I've ever had on an animated character. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. That was our last question for the day.
Hey, Ruthie.
Yep.
Martha says, do one for yourself.
Do one for myself? All right, I can do that. So let's take a look and see what we have. Okay, for me, if I could be one of the Disney characters, which one would I be? And I'll remind myself to use the word of the day, smooth. If I was going to be one of the Disney characters, I think that I would want to be Minnie Mouse. And the reason for it is, it was the way she always smoothed Mickey But it wasn't so much the way she smoothed Nikki. It was also the way she smoothed all the other characters. She had like finesse. You ever see the way she walked? And she had her little, I guess you would say, wing out, and then she would always strut around with pride. Now, I always thought that she was kind of half naked, so I didn't really want to do that because only her top part was covered. And I was like, she's a girl duck. She should be like covered down to her little wet feet. But then I was like, well, you know, we can get away with it because she has feathers. But I would want to be Minnie. I just always thought that she was so classy with the way she talked and the way she carried herself and the way she always she kept things always on the edge. She always kept me guessing. She always kept them going. So yeah, that would be the character that I would use. I would want to be Minnie Mouse. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Ruthie, can you hear me?
I
Ruthie,
can
can
hear
you
you.
hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Can you do a vote for the best table topic speaker? You'll need to ask for the report from the grammarian as well as the timer.
Okay, no problem. All right. Okay. Can I get a vote from everyone? If you can go ahead and vote for best table topic master. And it should be on the screen now for you all.
I should be excluded because I did not use the word of the day.
Yep. All right. So it looks like Ms. Martha has it 100%. And yep, the poll has already gone in. And the word of the day, the only person that didn't use the word of the day was Marianne. All right, looks like.
So it looks like Martha is the best table topic speaker today.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
it is.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Yeah, you did great, Ms. Parker. All right.
Thank you. Now, as we move closer into the final portion of our meeting, this is the most dynamic, I believe, part of this meeting, because we get to hear from our dynamic, prepared speakers. And today we have two of the best. Starting out, our first speaker, this is really not his first rodeo. He's been around Toastmasters since 2009. He has earned 2 DTMs, imagine that. This past year, he served as the District 103 conference committee, on that conference committee, and his role was on the tech team, where he managed the online presence of the people that were attending. The purpose of his project today is for Prince to apply his understanding of social media to enhance as an established or a new social media presence. In this speech, Prince will share in his title, "The Toastmasters Experience is the Desired End for Proper Branding." And he's always said things like this, and he saw this on the website for Toastmasters. How is the information that I'm putting forth to people, how is it being received? That's something I want you to ponder while he presents his presentation. Is it going to go over their heads? This is something that the person who's in charge of media and branding thinks about all the time. This is how we as branders take control and stay in control over everything that we do. Prince will be demonstrating how he can help strengthen Toastmasters brand by creating and crafting the Toastmasters experience. It has been said by Toastmasters International, the end result of branding for them is to make sure that the members have a great experience. Prince has titled his speech today, the Toastmasters experience is the desired end for proper branding. He's coming from his Pathways Dynamic Leadership Level 4 project, building a social media presence. And boy, do we all need to know how to do that. Here on our virtual speaking stage, let's join me in welcoming Prince, because he's got 2 DTMs and he's getting ready to rock this particular project. Let's all give it up for Prince G. Lethbridge.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, I want you to think about something. When you see a given logo, does it give you a good experience or does it give you a bad one? For instance, Jeffrey, when you see the Apple logo, what kind of experience do you think that gives you? Come on, Jeffrey.
I don't know if he can hear you, but
Oh,
if he
may not-
can't hear you, I can answer that for him.
Oh, go ahead.
I hear like all kinds of ching ching sounds going off because of how much money you have to spend, because they're exclusive, their music, everything. No matter what you do with Apple, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you. So as soon as I see the symbol, I feel like I need to empty my pockets inside out.
That's true, Ruthie. But it doesn't stop billions of people from standing in line when the new iPhone is released. Marianne, when you see the Toyota symbol, what kind of experience do you have with that?
Well, I've been a Toyota customer since 2000, so for over 20 years. So I actually have good experience with Toyota. Toyota has a reputation of being a reputable car manufacturer. So I have a good experience and a good feeling when I see that Toyota symbol.
And when you see Purina and their logo, what is your experience?
Boo. That's a great question, Purina. It's been there around there for years, and they couldn't schmooze me into buying their brand. It's cheap. It's on the grocery store shelves, and it's junk. Something you find out in a old Roy country almost. For dogs to have a long, healthy life, you got to go a little bit higher than Purina. So when I think of Purina, I think, you've been around for a long time, but you just haven't changed with the change in our animals. So that's what I think about when I think Purina, or when you say Purina.
And that is pretty much, everybody has a different opinion of different brands based on the experiences that they've had. Everybody has had experiences with Purina dog or cat food, a Toyota, or Apple. And those brands all carry a significant amount of weight, not only just in your mind because of perception, but because of what they do on social media. Every brand advertises heavily on social media when you think about it. If you look on social media, don't you think Apple has a huge page and a huge following? Same thing with Toyota. Every Toyota dealer, every Toyota brand or car even, they even have their own little sections or pages where people discuss issues, problems, etc. And you might be wondering, what does this have to do with Toastmasters? Well, let me throw this question at you. And I'm going to throw it back to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, when you see the Toastmasters logo, what kind of experience do you think that you're in for?
A learning experience. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. When I see that logo, it really puts me in a perspective that I'm getting ready to learn something here. I love learning every day, and Toastmasters logo, it puts me in a different frame of mind when I see that. And I think about it. I think about the people around the world and the meetings and things like that,
That's true. And you might think about that fact that Toastmasters has been around since 1924,
It's a very long time.
almost 100 years.
Mhm.
And that's brand. And by the way, the current brand that you see of Toastmasters has been around since 2011. The one previous to this had two crossed gavels and a globe to symbolize that they were an international organization.
International.
Now, that's a key thing when you're trying to advertise your club. You want to show that brand as much as possible and give people an idea of what their experience is going to be when they visit your club. For example, I might pick on Gwen quite a bit today because she's here because of a Toastmaster. So Gwen, tell us about your experience dealing with someone that's in Toastmasters.
Well, my experience, he didn't have to schmooze me very much because I had already known about Toastmasters from somebody else who was really schmoozing me into getting into it, but not very much because I did my research. I knew what the benefits were. I was told from our current speaker right here what the benefits were, and that it's a lot of fun and great camaraderie. So you didn't really have to sell me on Toastmasters. I don't know that I'd like them to be a little bit more flexible since they've been around since 1924, a little bit more. And that's what I like about Elite. We can be a little bit more flexible. We don't have to be so rigid and strict along what you say and what you do in these roles. We have that flexibility. I think a lot of that goes to you, Prince and Martha, for letting us be ourselves and bring our genuine selves to each and every meeting. So when I think about Toastmasters, I think, there's a lot of people in this club, but there's so many more out there who just need it, probably want it, but just won't take that step. So I think great things and great accomplishments and achievements. So it's withstood the test of time.
And that's the key point. Every one of us in this club is a representative of the brand. And even now, as we are going through the process of redoing our guest packets, in fact, I will show you what said guest packet looks like. We're actually going to use this particular guest packet to give to any guests that visit our club. And you notice it's rather short, actually. Gives information about the meeting frequency, what is Toastmasters, and the ever popular WIFM, or what's in it for me. But this is the key piece. What does it offer? And that's the main thing about a brand like Toastmasters. They have to have some way to show what it's offering you as a potential member or you as a person who's in Toastmasters. So let's just go with the fact that Toastmasters has a very powerful brand, but we are just as powerful a brand whenever we're on social media. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that. I would love to see the rest of that. Even though I live here with you, I just love looking at all the brands that we've created around their different clubs. Madam Timer, would you please give the evaluator 1 minute so that they can write some copious notes? Thank you.
And that's time.
What I would like to have all of you do, with the exception of the speaker, kind of mute your line for me because I'm getting a little bit of background noise. Thank you guys so much. Our next speaker, you guys know that Gwen is not a
Miss Martha, you went to mute.
someone
Point of order,
mute,
Miss
mute,
Martha.
mute.
You went, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Our next speaker is no stranger to the speaking stage. As a matter of fact, she's hit the road or the ground, if you would call it, running. And that's probably saying a whole lot because she does have a nice little hobby on the side with her dog. It's called fly wheel, I believe. Fly ball. I keep getting that word mixed up. What they do is they do these different exercises where the dog has to run through different maneuvers and all kinds of cool things. And today she's going to be completing her Pathways Dynamic Leadership project. She's asking you, have you ever wondered what your leadership style has to do with your communications? Have you guys ever wondered that? If you have, listen very closely to Gwen. In her speech today, Understanding Your Leadership Style, title, and communication style. I don't know if she's going to do both of those. It'd be great to hear that. Gwen will share why these go hand in hand in making you a leader others want to follow or emulate. She's completing her Pathways Dynamic Leadership, Understanding Your Leadership Style. She'll be before the group 5 to 7 minutes or however many minutes she needs. Let's all welcome Gwen. And Gwen, please don't kill me for not knowing how to pronounce your last name. I'd rather not say it than to botch it.
I won't, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. I often quote John Maxwell when he says, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. When we are first born, we have a lot of influence. We're cute, cuddly, cooing, and the like. We're all born with influence. But just because we are born with influence certainly doesn't mean we continue to influence as we grow and go through life. We all know leaders who have had negative influence on the world, our nation, and on us personally. A far cry from the cute and cuddly. Then there are those leaders, very likely some in our group, who have influenced us beyond ways of description. Leadership through influence. Think about it. I'm not going to speak on the typical styles we know and hear about and take those online self-assessments to find out which way we lean toward in our day-to-day, such as adaptive leadership. Let's challenge the way we're doing this. There could be a better way. Or participative. Let's all just get together and get this job done. Or autocratic, someone who possesses their will and way on others. There's also, I'm sure you've heard, authoritarian. Do this or else. And those transactional leaders. If you do this, I'm going to give you this. I like to believe great leaders utilize a melting pot of styles. I want to talk about the leaders who use their influence and form their own unique style. And for those of you who were with us last month, Martha talked about servant leadership, which is the desire to be of service to others. Who here has experienced Martha's leadership? I have. Princess Diana used the platform of compassion in her leadership. In the early 80s, AIDS was rampaging through communities and countries around the world. Many thought one could contract AIDS simply by touching someone with the disease. In April of 1987, a long time ago, Princess Diana, one of the most famous people in the world, opened up the first unit in the UK dedicated to treating people with HIV and AIDS. During her visit, she shook the hand of a patient without wearing gloves and changed people's perceptions of the disease forever. Now that's leadership. Malala Yousafzai's leadership came through survival. She grew up in Pakistan where the Taliban banned girls from getting an education. She became a focal supporter of female education when a Taliban gunman shot her 3 times in the head in an assassination attempt. She survived, and the attack provoked worldwide outrage. In Pakistan, it led to the ratification of the Right to Education bill. Martin Luther King led through inspiration, and Rosa Parks' leadership was through a stance she held so strongly to, it changed our nation for the better forever. Each of these leaders used a style to what they stood for and believed in, and all with influence. They created movements, and that's what truly great leaders do. Yes, your leadership is a style, but it doesn't necessarily have to have a name. It's about the methods and behaviors used when directing, motivating, and gathering followers. You see, we aren't leaders unless we have followers. Look at Martha, Diana, Malala, MLK, and Rosa. I've been influenced in some either great or small way by each of these leaders, whether I knew them or not. What about you? So what makes up our ability to influence? Influence is about our ability to connect. And one of the greatest ways we connect is through our communication, our words, our tone, our body language. Max Dupree, from his book, Leadership is an Art, said, the measure of leadership is not the quality of the head, but the tone of the body. In order to lead, we must have followers. If we have no followers, if we can't get others to reach their potential, to learn, to grow, to achieve the results we want and need, we aren't leading, and we certainly aren't communicating. People are at the heart and spirit of all that counts. Without people, there is no need for leaders. I believe people want guidance. They want to be influenced. They want to be heard. Great leaders influence us in a way that is patient and kind. They listen. They hear. They respond in ways through their communication and influence that move us to do great things, things we never thought ourselves we could do. Think about the leaders who have influenced you. I have a great leader in my life who is now a trusted friend and mentor and an Army veteran. His name is John. His influence on me was so significant, talked me into joining Toastmasters before Prince actually got me to join Toastmasters, but it moved me to do great things. Simply by watching him and listening to him, I was moved because of his leadership. And because of that, I took the lead in facilitating a day of leadership for over 60 senior executives and board members in my former organization. Without John's influence and communication, I wouldn't have believed I was capable. But because of him, I was. Max Dupree goes on to say in his chapter on communication that communication is vital to organizations. It's vital to our relationships, and that our communication is a common bond of mutual interests, interlocking contributions, and simple joy. It's the leader's responsibility to ensure that communication is maintained and strengthened. My fellow Toastmasters, this is only possible through influence. I hope my leadership is about how I've been able to influence those who walk alongside me because they want to, how I talk with them or just listen. I want to meet those around me where they are at, not where I think they should be, but where they are. There isn't a style. This is influence. My leadership is something I work on every day. So is my communication. So how can you determine your style? Go ahead, take one of those free online assessments. There's hundreds to choose from. Or I'd like to offer some tips. Always be learning. Great leaders are learning every single day. They learn from others, they read, and they learn from the mistakes and are always willing to grow from the wisdom experience of others. They believe that if they are the smartest person in the room, they're in the wrong room. They are adaptable, adapting with their environment and adapting through their growing pains, challenges, and successes of the teams they lead. Great leaders are visionaries. They are aware of their own capabilities and what they need to do to accomplish their goals. But they are also able to cast a vision so vivid, others can see it and want to be a part of something greater than them very selves. Start with influence, a form of communication with and without words. And remember, your leadership develops daily, not in a day. What are you doing to develop your leadership and communication styles? Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Whoa, whoa. Give her a hand, guys. That was a beautiful presentation on leadership. What I would need to do now is ask our timer to give us at least 1 minute on the timer so that the person who's doing this evaluation can make some really great notes. That's me.
And that's time.
Thank you, Madam Timer. At this time, we will ask for a report, a timer's report from the timer, and we're going to vote for the best speaker with who stayed within the time.
So
Thank you, Prince.
for prepared speeches, Prince finished in 7 minutes and 36 seconds. Gwen finished at exactly 7 minutes. So Gwen made the time. It's within her time. And I'll go through the table topics.
No, we have those.
Oh, you
You've
have them?
already voted, yes.
Okay.
We got that one. Thank you, Mary Ann. Now, guys, we have one winner for this speech today because Prince requested 5 to 7 minutes, and he did DQ. Our winner for the prepared speakers is Gwen. Congratulations, Gwen.
Thank you very much. It didn't really count, but that's all right. I'm second to number one.
Thank you. You're so humble. We're now moving into the area where we have the general evaluator come to the table, and they're going to share with us an overview of our meeting. They're going to call on the evaluators as well as the prepared, functionaries. Let's all welcome to the speaking area as our general evaluator, Prince G. Lethbridge.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. No Toastmasters meeting would be complete without the evaluation from their peers. And we're going to start with the evaluation of the first speaker by Gwen Albrecht.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Number one, Prince, great hook. I don't want to speak for everybody else, but you brought me in right from the jump about asking how we thought about a specific brand. I think it was Apple, then Toyota. And then for me, you made it very personal. And that's what great speakers do. They tell a story and they reel us in. And that's exactly what you did, Prince. You had me right from the very beginning. It was, it was good. I was going to say flawless, but I love that part. I love the topic you picked, even though it had to relate with a bit of technology. It was something I thought personally was different for you, and it was still very good. This is your area, and this is where you excel at. So what I would want you to do is stay right where you're really good at, but yet being flexible and flexing your boundary a little bit there. You didn't use the word of the day, but you started with how we fell into branding traps. Then you brought us to present day with talking about Toastmasters and the brand. You made yourself credible with saying 1924 and 1911. Fellow Toastmasters, when any speaker uses date or data, that brings credibility to their topic that they're speaking of. And Prince did that today, which I thought was a great job. I would have really loved to hear more, Prince. I know you ran out of time, and like Miss Martha said, our Toastmaster for the day, that brochure I think is going to go a long way in bringing more Toastmasters to not only our club, but to this great organization. Just a great job, Prince. Even though you didn't use the word of the day, for me, it didn't matter. Great job. Keep up the good work.
And here to evaluate Gwen's speech, Martha.
Prince, thank you very much. And more importantly, Gwen, you've been before this group quite a few times. And each time you leave us with something that we can use. You are beginning to be the master of content, offering the great things in your speeches. Let me just share with you all one more time what the purpose for Gwen's speech was today. Gwen was doing her leadership and communication style project where she wanted to make sure that we understood her leadership style. She titled her speech, Understanding Your Leadership and Communication Styles. With that, Gwen, I thought you did a fantastic job bringing that to the forefront as a person who is doing a good speech with great content, things that people can really use at the moment in which it leaves your mouth. One thing that I heard you say that I will never forget, I'm going to put it on a little postcard. You said leadership is all about influence. You also gave us some pointers that we need to look for in great leaders. You said, always be learning. Wow, that means we'll be a student for life. That's what it means. Adaptability. You talked about that. You also talked about the influences. And there's a word that I wrote so fast that I cannot tell you what it was, but it was number 3 inside of there. It was so great. I love the way you compared to different servant leaders. You talked about Princess Di. You talking about, I believe, Malara, the young lady who was shot in the head because she wanted to teach others how to stand up for themselves and read and do things of that nature. You also mentioned Martha inside of there. That to me was so fascinating because I never knew that I had influence in wonderful people like you. But I know one thing about you: you listen so well, you take to instructions extremely well, and you add so much great content to our meetings and when we have personal talks. I just think you are a fantastic leader. You left us with something that I am pondering. It's not about the style of leadership, but it's about the influence. Wow. How much of that can you just put in your head and go like this? Your head goes like this. When I heard that, my head nearly exploded, because we never know that we're an influence over others, but at the same time, we want that leadership style. We want people to be able to identify us. And when you said our servant leadership, that got me. I'm going to now send it back to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martha. One of the key things about a Toastmasters meeting is not just the evaluations, but the functionaries that help us along while we are growing and developing. Our first functionary is going to be our lexicologist, who's not exactly going to be schmoozing all of us, but she's going to be telling us the point blank, blunt truth. Gwen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Overall, we did a great job. I love the table topics portion because it actually puts us on the spot. Ruthie called me out from the get-go, and I was not ready. And if you could have seen my eyes, but you can't because my glasses blur them out. I was like, oh. So I know I had some pauses, but I did use the word schmooze, probably overused it. I used that three times as the first table topic. Second was to you, Prince. You had a pause, but other than that, that was great. You used the word of the day once, and you have about schmoozed me into taking off to Telluride, Colorado. Martha, you did a terrific job. You used the word schmooze. That's all I wrote down other than terrific. Kathy, it would have been so awesome to hear you. I know in your back of your mind, you were planning on using the word of the day to answer your question. Then Marianne, that was a hard question. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Ruthie, where did you get that question from? So from that question, the challenge that it was, I thought you, even though you didn't use the word of the day, I didn't care because that was a tough one and that was a good one. And then Ruthie, Minnie Mouse, I was just picturing you just looking at Minnie Mouse. So you did good. You used the word of the day once. Your pace was great. And it was a great story. Speaker number 1, Chris, I already gave my evaluation. I got mine. And then from the evaluators. So I believe everybody else did a great job today. Great meeting. And I know I've got a lot of ums in there in my, as the grammarian. Oh, well.
Thank you very much, Gwen. Let me do a little of what I do at work. However, let's get on to the timers report for the evaluator portion of the meeting.
For the evaluations, Gwen at 1 minute 59 and Martha at 3 minutes and 10 seconds, both within time.
Thank you very much, Mary Ann. And now let's talk about the overall report.
Overall
Oh, yes,
time
I do
report.
need to do the poll. Let's vote for the person that was the best evaluator for the day. And here we go. And one thing to bear in mind, I can't vote if I'm the host.
I can't either.
Neither can Mary Ann because she's a co-host. And neither can Ruthie because she's a co-host. Well, alrighty then. All right, so let's end it. So it looks like, Martha, you won Best Evaluator for today. There you go. And now for the overall review of the meeting. Technology is wonderful when it works, but a pain in the butt when it doesn't. If most of you that have known me for a long time know I will deal with technology on a daily basis, and there are some days where I want to pitch computers out of perfectly good airplanes to see how fast they fall to Earth. Today was one of those days where we had a lot of technological challenges because we were trying some new things. First was Otter. Otter is supposed to transcribe the meeting, but ran into a problem. As soon as I connected my headset, Otter couldn't transcribe the meeting anymore because the mic went mute and I can't unmute it. Then another interesting thing, I was watching James come into the meeting today, but he was stuck on connecting to audio. You know, those little juggling balls that say connecting to audio, and then he just dropped off. Again, technology. Beautiful when it works, a pain when it doesn't. But one thing we can do that does not require technology is we need to make sure that we are better centered in the camera. Yes, Jeffrey, I'm talking to you. And I'm also talking to Gwen. Now, Kathy, I know you're tired, but laying down it's not a good look. But this has been a wonderful meeting, even though we've had so many different challenges, so many different things. But I don't really have anything to say about anything bad. It's really been a really good meeting. Gwen's speech was rather fun. I'm still waiting for that flyball speech though, Gwen. And my speech today was literally off the top of my head. So it was something about a topic I wasn't strong in, but I figured I'm going to take a shot at it. But the point is, when you take a shot at something that you're not familiar with and you do a little speech on it, you might see that you're okay. But all in all, everybody did a good job today. Mary Ann, you were always doing a good job as timer. Martha did a wonderful job as a Toastmaster. Ruthie's table topics questions were quite fun. I was still looking for a road trip question because I had a good answer for that one. I have about 3 or 4 good answers for that one, actually. And since Jeffrey is here, I'm sure he could have answered some questions about vacations too, because that man takes a lot of them. But at any rate, you guys did a wonderful job, and let's turn it back over to our Toastmaster.
Prince, thank you so much. That's such a great evaluation. And you stayed, looks like you stayed with close to your time, which is awesome. What I want to do now is just open the floor for individuals who has not had a chance to talk. I want to know if Kathy's mic is working okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's kind of low though.
My volume's all the way up.
It's much better when you just did that. Excellent. Kathy, I want you to have an opportunity to finish up your table topics question. I'm going to hand the floor over to Ruthie now so she can repeat that question for you because you was going in a good direction with that. Ruthie, you are muted.
All right, Kathy. So your table topic question was basically if the world froze for a day and you had the opportunity and no one can move but you, and you had the opportunity to go anywhere or do anything you wanted to do, what would you do? And remember to use the word of the day, smooth.
I probably would go to Alaska because that's the coldest place, and I'll probably be hiding in an igloo where nobody can smooth me about where I was hiding at. That's where I would go.
Got to bring your phone a little bit closer to your mouth.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I said I probably would go to like Alaska and be hiding in an igloo. Somebody would be able to find me or smooth me.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. Definitely Alaska would be a place that no one probably could find you. And if they did, they probably would freeze on the way there.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you, Ruthie. Thank you very much. We always like having everyone who comes into the meeting, who's taken their time to spend with us today or any day, to have an opportunity to speak. And I just wanted to make sure that we gave the mic back to Kathy because she did have difficulties when she first started with her table topics. Thank you, Kathy, for that. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Jeffrey, right. Is there anything that you would like to share with us today about your experience with Toastmasters or whatever is on your mind? You have the floor.
Well, Toastmasters is wonderful. I really, really like it. But I like to just come in and listen. I get kind of arrived somewhat late. Today I had issues with my computer. So I'm on my cell phone right now. But I love Toastmasters. I love to just come and listen to what's being said, how the people's talking, what they, just in general, just listen. I'm more of a listener. But I love it. Mhm.
You are also a man with some really great information, and that information really converts into great content. You might be even the king of content from the things that we've had a conversation about over the last 3 months. Thank you so much for coming, Jeffrey. The last thing I would like to say is, thank you. You're so welcome. The last thing that I would like to point out to your attention is we have new officers that will all take their positions next year, 7/1/2022. That's in a few weeks. And what we're going to do on that day is have them at least come into the group if we have the person who is the area director, they might come and do what we call, what's that word I'm looking for, Prince? Induction, to make you official as a Toastmasters group. And I would like to announce the people who are in the different roles in Toastmasters as we move forward to our next year. Currently, Franklin JSM, Dr. Franklin JSM, is serving as our interim president. That role next year will be taken up by Prince G. Leffridge. Oh, guys, you don't wait for me. Give him a hand. This is a lot of work here. Congratulations, Prince. The next area is the Vice President of Education. Of course, if you need to know who that's going to be, then you're probably not a member of this club. Martha Brock Leffridge. Woo, woo, woo. The next area is the Vice President of Membership. Prince, would you tell us who that person is for membership?
That person for membership would be, let's see, you.
Okay, we're going to talk about that. I don't think that's what's on the district site. He's kidding, guys. The next area is for our secretary. Of course, she's done a great job in that role and she would like to remain in it. None other than Ruthie Barnes. Thank you, Ruthie. The next area is the Vice President of Public Relations. Now, membership in public relations was held by one member last year. That was Marianne Franco. What Marianne has requested this year is to take an hiatus because of her work schedule has gotten a little bit more complicated. And we wanted to honor that. We also want to thank her for all the wonderful things that she has done with bringing us new members, the way she's promoted the club out into the media. We just want to thank her. And I know from experience, Marianne is hard to replace, but we're going to try to do our best in doing that. I'm going to go to the site and see who the new officers are in those particular roles. If Prince did not do that already. I'm just asking, Prince.
I did not do that yet.
Would you be kind enough to go there and then I'll go into this next area for the Sergeant at Arms. Our Sergeant at Arms is probably going to be a stranger to everyone here except myself and Prince. Jeffrey, we've known for so many years. He's always supported the club. He's always been there. He's like one of those people that is behind the scenes and we say, we need one more member to become distinguished. That's Jeffrey. That's who Jeffrey is. He's always looking for places that he can insert himself to push the club to a higher level. And I'm going to tell you, for the last 3 months, he's been having these great dialogue sessions with myself and Prince, and he's really been blowing it out of the water with the stuff that he has shown us and he's expounded upon. We're going to love having him in that role to open up our meetings each and every time and close them out. Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey, since you're here, do you want to say something? Because we've all talked about the roles before. What would you like to say about the Sergeant at Arms role?
Yeah, muted, Jeffrey.
He just told me he didn't like talking. Do you have it up, Prince?
Yes. I think that role would be perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We think so too.
Can you hold a second? Hear me?
Yes.
I can barely hear you. Yes, I think that role would be perfect for me. I like the Sergeant at Arms position. That post.
Yes. Thank you, Jeffrey. We're going to look forward to you coming back to the meeting on the second week in July and opening up our meeting for the very first time.
Second week in July?
Yes, the second week in July. It's the second Saturday. You know how our meetings are held, the second Saturday. Yeah, it's not going to change or anything.
Yeah. I
So
just want to make sure
the
I have
days that
my,
you're not able to make it, you'll just send us a note in and then someone else would open the meeting, kind of like the way
Sure.
Danielle did today. And by the way, the treasurer for our meeting is Danielle Rainey. She will step into that role. Prince, let me know if you have the site up.
Give me 1 second.
All right. We'll come back to that. What I'll do now is open up the next meeting agenda for July, and I'm going to do a screen share to be able to do that. And I need to go to a nice place. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to bring it up. I need to bring it up real quick. Let me do that. Give me 1 second. I don't have a right-hand person to help me right now. When Prince is doing speeches, he's so engulfed in the speeches, it's a little bit difficult to do different things. Let me see here. Prince, let me know when you're ready.
I will. You know how slow the Toastmasters website gets?
Yeah, it is slow, but we're gonna move it through here real quickly. Okay. So I have it up now. I'm gonna go back and do a screen share. Okay. As you can see for the Toastmasters meeting on today, June 11th, everything was fulfilled. And what I'll do at the end of this agenda, I'll go through and I'll justify or reconcile the agenda, meaning that everyone who had a role today fulfilled that role. And we've added Kathy to the notes in the bottom to make sure that she gets credit for the thought of the day. And by the way, Kathy, that thought of the day is a speech. It comes under the speech category, social speeches, 2 to 3 minutes before a group. So that's a pretty good thing. You fulfill the role in addition to you're going to get credit for that functionary. Everyone who served in a functionary role today, find a partner, someone who served in a functionary role as well, and evaluate them for that particular role. If you were a timer, it won't count because of the way Toastmasters has structured things, but general evaluator, table topics master, as well as Toastmaster. Those are roles in addition to the grammarian counter, they can be evaluated. So if you would go in and get your evaluation form that relates to that particular role, as in, I'll tell you a little bit further on it, but it won't be something I can do right now because I'm going to go to the agenda for the next week or the next month.
Yes, next month, please.
Next month is July 9th, 2022. And you can see there's no roles that has been filled. I wonder why that is. Marianne has got a speech. Oh, Marianne, you got another speech. That's pretty cool.
So
2 years Toastmaster anniversary.
That one's the big one, and I don't need 18 to 22 minutes. I'd probably just do 10 to 12 minutes. So I don't know if that's
Okay, 10 to 12. Okay, we'll put it in. You could actually go in and put it in here now.
So I put a
She
note
did.
in
She
there.
put it in there.
If you scroll up, but you'll see if you scroll up, you'll see in the top. Yeah.
Okay, got it. You know, I like to go in with Prince and correct things so it doesn't have those little things on it. I just did that one. Sorry. Excellent. Who else would like to speak though? We have another speaking slot there. I would love to do that speech that Prince did today. I'm going to steal that speech because we worked on that project together. Any takers?
Oh, I'm going to do a speech, but I think I'm going to accept Gwen's challenge.
Okay.
Prince. What did I tell you?
First, Sergeant at Arms for that meeting on the 9th is going to be Jeffrey Wright. He just shared with us he would be there to open the meeting. Presiding officer, Prince, you will be moving into your leadership as the president. So
Yep.
you are the presiding officer. Are you going to be the Toastmaster? It would be ideal since it's the first meeting.
Yeah, why not?
I'll say. You don't want any thunder to be stolen there, because you'll be leading the whole crew. Lexicologist, Gwen did a great job this time. Who would like that role? Okay, nobody say anything. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. That's Ruthie with the timer. I'll take lexicologist. Ruthie is the timer, which is nice. General evaluator. Who would like to polish off this meeting and tell us what we've done really well and the things that we could really work on?
I can take that one too.
Mary Ann. So nice. Oh, here we go. Table topics. Ruthie had it this past time.
I'll do that one, Miss Martha.
That's Gwen. Gwen?
Gwen. Yeah.
Nice. Gwen, is this going to be your first time in table topics?
No.
Okay, you've done it before. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got that. We have our first speaker. Prince, are you saying you're going to do a speech as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay, Prince. Danielle will be back next month. She's
That's-
already shared that with me. So I'm going to throw her in as, I don't think, is she still?
Wait a minute. Why does that say round robin?
Because somebody moved it. It's not a round robin. We already know that.
Okay, I'm going to have to go in there and fix that.
Yes.
You want to make it Prince instead of Patricia for the speaker number. You got to evaluate.
Yeah, that's because I'm not looking at this right. Patricia might be back as well, but I'm not going to put her in until she gives me the okay. Therosia will be back as well. I don't know if she's ready to speak yet.
No, but I think she would be a good evaluator. But it wouldn't hurt to check with her, though.
What I'll do here. Wait a minute. This is you're Mary Ann's evaluator, Prince.
That's what it looks like.
Okay, and then you are also speaking, correct?
Correct.
Okay, it's Prince. And then we'll put in here Danielle doing your evaluation. She'll be back. That's really enough speakers. We have 2 speakers. We have enough space for 3 speakers if someone else wants to step up. But for the most part, that's what the agenda will look like unless someone else takes that 3rd speaker spot. And we'll be looking for them to do that. The meeting awards, see who our Toastmaster was. Prince, it's going to be you giving out the awards.
Mm-hmm.
Prince.
How many-
Prince, do you want me to take that evaluator spot for you? You're speaking and then you've got these 3 or 4 other functionaries. So I will take unless you really want it, I'll take
No,
the
go
evaluator.
for it, Gwen.
All right, I'll take that from you. The evaluator. Evaluate, yeah, that right there, Martha.
When?
And the page for the officers finally came up.
I know it takes a while. Okay, this says round robin. No, we're not doing that. The general evaluator will show up there. And meeting awards. That's you again, Prince. Because you're the
And we are not
Toastmaster.
doing a speaking lesson. Okay, I gotta go through and redo this. I see.
Yeah, you have to redo it because it some kind of way it hinged on when Isa was
Either with
doing
the
those.
president. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Okay, let's see something here. Business club business will be Martha. And the adjournment of the meeting. This is you, Prince.
Yeah, the king of the hill.
Actually, you're not adjourning the meeting. The person that is in the sergeant at arms role
does the adjournment.
That's exactly right. So Jeffrey, you're going to be for the long haul, just like you are right now.
Yes.
Save
Okay.
and close. We're going to see how it looks now. Jeffrey, we got to get a nice smoothing shot of you. We need to get that. Okay, guys, it's running through. Everybody look at it. Gwen, number 2 is Prince, and Danielle will be doing your speech evaluation. And at the bottom, you'll do the meeting awards because you are the Toastmaster. And lastly, myself, and that is not going to count there. We're going to pull that off of there because that I don't know how that got on there. But everybody's happy for where they are in their roles.
Looks good, Martha.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
all so much for participating. And that concludes my portion of this meeting for today. Any final thoughts before we have Jeffrey acting as our elected Sergeant at Arms close it out for the first time? Any more thoughts, guys?
Oh, we can't forget the picture before we adjourn the meeting.
Oh, okay. All right, Prince.
Don't scoot, Ruthie. We got to get the picture.
Yeah, she looks so pretty. Yeah, she's gonna get a nice picture. When you dress real nice and look real nice, you want a nice picture. That's so cute. You and Marianne. I'm looking at you guys. You not short stepping either, Gwen. You look nice over there too.
Oh, Miss Martha, I don't know why I must have missed the memo. Everybody dressed up today, and I'm like,
Right?
I was up late last night, and up early this morning. I just got up from a nap.
That's the cool part about Gwen. She keeps it real. That's awesome.
All
right,
righty.
Prince. Gallery.
Yeah, let's get a nice little picture together so I can put it on the front of the website.
Look into the camera, people.
Yes, look into the camera. Look into the camera. As soon as I get this one done, and I'm going to take a couple of more. Okay, everyone. Give us your best glam shot here. This looks like a winner. I think this one's a winner because everybody is smiling.
Woohoo!
All right, you're good.
All
Jeffrey,
right.
you look like you're sleeping.
And I just yawned. Jeffrey, it is now time for you as the Sergeant at Arms to bring this meeting to a close. You get your first instructions today on how to close out meeting. This meeting for Elite Toastmaster dating June 11th, 2022 is now adjourned.
This meeting for Luke Toastmasters dated June 11, 2022 is now adjourned.